resolute of heart, make firm thy mind. The tongue of a man is the rudder of the boat, but the Lord of all is its pilot. Cast not thy heart after riches, there's no ignoring fate and destiny. Place not thy thoughts on things outside, every man is destined for his hour.
On feeling goods where all of your cash went, not chakra alignment or inward refinement. Trying to find one word to describe men. Better yet, can one consciousness unify them? Pondering on these questions is where my time spent. Creative process, believe me, greatness got to achieve it. Ideas we believe in, positive mind, gotta reach it. Putting effort to bring forth this new being. You're not consumed by the lust for things, but knows that his worth is determined by words and deeds. Your mind is affected by words and deeds. Your thoughts are keys to what you're trying to see, and what you're trying to see should be to reach your goals. Hold on to your dreams, keys open doors. Since you can't always choose circumstances, make sure to choose your thoughts wisely. Choose advancement, move towards the future. Now's your chance, kid. Accept responsibility, avoid resentment. Actions always take root from what you think about. Things ain't going your way, it ain't hard to figure out. Why? Oh, why? Ask why. Ain't gotta tell you, it's right in front of your eyes. So in following these principles, you'll find along the road you're the only one responsible for your soul. It's no coincidence. Take control of your life, no coincidence. It's no coincidence. You take control, no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Yeah, it's no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Nah, it's no coincidence.
Old shells are highly prized. And this one is occupied by a sarcastic fringe.
All right. What's up, New Haven? Good afternoon. A little bit after 2, Monday, the 7th, May 7th. And you're listening to breaking news, absolutely breaking the mainstream media, breaking it in half. I've been off for like a week. I haven't done my show for a week. Couldn't do my show because of the Great Give, which was very successful, over 1.7 million. So great job over there. Yeah, and if anybody's watching me on Facebook, there's 2 new pictures added to my, my wall, the picture wall of fame that I have around me on Facebook Live. And it's Candace Owens, very intelligent young lady. And another picture of Kanye West. Right there, right under me. If anybody watching me on Facebook. And there's a reason for that, right? With all of the hoopla going on about Kanye. And his enlightenment, right? Because Kanye, if you remember, Kanye said that George Bush didn't like black people, which was just fine. That was his opinion at the time. I think he had apologized, but it was his opinion at the time. And sure, there were people who got upset by that. And I think I had read that George Bush was a little upset by it because, he didn't feel he was racist, and that had all those types of implications. So, and now you have years later, post Barack Obama, And Kanye now loves Donald Trump. Says he's his brother. And nobody's going to stop him from loving Donald Trump. And it seems to be, Candace Owens seems to be the catalyst in all of this. She's what inspired Kanye to come out, break out of his silence. And I mean, I think everybody knew he liked Donald Trump because when Donald Trump became president, when he was President-elect Trump, Kanye visited him at Trump Tower. You know, and people were saying he was in the midst of a nervous breakdown, and they're calling Kanye crazy now for liking Trump. Now, you know, I have a lot of videos that I could, or audio I could play for you today, of tons of black people on Facebook, on YouTube, who love Donald Trump. And I think what Kanye is doing, because he has the fame, he's bringing attention to the fact that more and more people, more and more minorities, not just black people. I know they make everything a black and white issue, right? But Hispanics happen to be the largest minority there is right now. And Hispanics put Trump over the top in Florida, right? People thought he was going to get less of the Hispanic vote, less of the black vote. I think Trump doubled Mitt Romney's percentage in the black vote. It's not a lot, but I think Mitt Romney got like 6%, Trump got like 11%. But it is something. It is something, right? That people are starting to move away from this propaganda. All this is this, the media that's out there now is not there to protect America. They're actually there to hurt America. The media is no longer helping anything. The media isn't there to inform you of anything anymore. They're basically there to be whatever the left want them to be. I would say the Democrat Party, but now we're bordering on extremism. And the liberals have taken over. The extreme radical liberals have taken over the Democrat Party. Right? Because when you start, and they call themselves liberals, it's just a hijacked term to try to make them sound like they're open to everything, but in fact they're closed. They close themselves off from everything, right? So free speech, they're against it if you don't agree with them, right? So you can't express yourself anymore, right? Now keep in mind that our First Amendment, it's in the Constitution. We're able to feel however we want to feel, to actually use those feelings to come forth with words, and if we want to scream it out loud and say, look, I'm for President Trump, I'm for President Trump. But the new Democrat Party, the radicals, the Communist Party that's taken over the Democrats now, and they disguise themselves as liberals. They really have taken over the whole Democrat Party, right? Because even though they may be, who knows, I'm hoping that they're not the majority of the Democrat Party, but as we know, it doesn't take you to be the majority in the Democrat Party to make the biggest noise, right? Because they have you changing laws and lives over a 3% of the population or whatever. The smallest voices make the biggest noise in the Democrat Party. And right now, the loudest voice is the hyper radical communists who are running the party. People can get upset with me. I know. I know people who will admit it when nobody's looking, that their goal, they're hiding under the name Antifa and all of these things that are being funded by George Soros. I know people that off the air will tell me it's a good thing and we need to shut down all speech. Right? But in front of other people, they're good liberals, right? And they tell me all the time. That, well, you want us to walk around in peace with our rosaries or walk around like Martin Luther King, just using our voices. We're not going to do that. If we have to harm society to get it to where we want it to go, that's what we're going to do. And that's what's really happening in the Democrat Party. It's being taken over by radicals. Criminals, I would say. Because they go to cause harm. Whether that be violence or destroying property. Whatever it is, they want to disrupt. They're disruptors. Right? So you have people like Kanye messing with their message. They've been selling this message for, 50 years? Right? That they're with you. They're with the minorities. They're with anybody who's being stepped on. But really, they've been creating a system that only allows you space to be stepped on. Okay, so the system that all of these Democrat communities create, it has a very short ceiling. Because they can't allow you to grow any further than their ceilings. You're living in a very small house. The democratic system actually hurts you. And to steal from Candace Owens, it keeps you a victim and doesn't allow you the space to become a victor. But we have people like Kanye West breaking the mold, right? He's supposed to stay in line. As a matter of fact, who was it? Maxine Waters? Who said he's speaking out of turn? Speaking out of turn? That's plantation talk to me. That's somebody coming out of the big house and telling somebody you're speaking out of turn. You're not doing what you're supposed to. And that's coming from people who are running the party. And people who are leaders in the black community. A black man, a rich black man, free to do whatever he wants, is out of turn. That is harmful to the Democrat Party. If you have to line up and wait for them to tell you when you could talk, them to tell you when you could eat. But Kanye West decided to stand up. And he uttered simple words on Twitter, right? I like the way this Candace Owens speaks. Now, Candace Owens, and I've seen her, I've been watching her videos for a while, but she's become a lightning rod, right? And you have people who came before her who speak out. The economist Thomas Who, excuse me. So it's one of them who's always speaking out. But she's become a lightning rod. And Kanye touched that lightning rod. And he got a little juice. A jolt of that Candace Owens electricity that made him speak up. And he's like, I like the way she talks about not staying a victim and becoming a victor. And that caused a total meltdown by the left. A total meltdown. You have Snoop Dogg, who over the weekend posted Kanye in whiteface. He posted Kanye in whiteface. And nobody cares? Imagine if that was reversed. And some white celebrity didn't agree with a black celebrity. Or no, some white celebrity didn't agree with a white celebrity and put that celebrity in blackface. Do you know the racial explosion that there would be? But people like Snoop Dogg could say whatever he wants and get away with it. And it's because society has become, they've turned backwards, right? In order to make things equal, now you allow certain people to say whatever they want while outlawing the other person. So, imagine some of the terms that I hear every day, right? Of the pride people have in being African American. Imagine if anybody white were to utter those same words. Right now, a white person can't vocalize their pride in being being white. Whether they're Irish, Jewish, whatever it is. If they're white, they can't take pride in it. Because a mob would come after them. But you know what? I've always liked Kanye as an artist. He's always been Kanye, right? And I haven't always agreed with him. But it took a lot of guts. And people said it was to sell an album. Are you kidding? People started unfriending him. He lost 9 million followers. It wasn't about money. It was about liberation. It was about him freeing his mind. And not just sitting in a room and agreeing with everybody to be agreeable. Even though you know they're wrong. Even though you know the racist attacks are coming from them. Kanye decided to be brave. I'm going to take a break and then we'll come back with some words from Kanye. You're listening to Breaking News with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
Blow the candles out and make a wish. You ain't never had a night like this. Feeling like we can't be stopped tonight. Tonight. We all in here celebrating life. We all trying to win. Let your head down if you're feeling alright. Tonight we going hard with no end in sight. Let's go. If you know what I know, throw your hands up. Find something slow like we can't stand up. I need one more round. Tonight we ain't gotta go home. So we gon' party hard till the early morning. Can't stop till we lose our minds. We can party like it's 2099. Tonight we ain't gotta go home. So we gon' party hard till the early morning. Can't stop till we lose our minds. So we gon' party like it's 2099. 2099. Back another bottle, pour it out slow. 2099. It's our time, act like you know. 2099. Back another bottle, over to my friends. 2099. It's our time, count up ends. Let's go. Have a drink on me, it's your birthday. Tell me what it's gonna be, it's your birthday. Last call and I'm wanted in the worst way. Red line girl, you're burning up first place. Red line girl, come on make it hot. We gon' take it there, straight to the top. Loose with the guap, juice is the rock. Do it non-stop, all around the clock. If you know what I know, throw your hands up. Find something slow like we can't stand up. I need one more round. Tonight we ain't gotta go home. So we gon' party hard till the early morning. Can't stop till we lose our minds. We can party like it's 2099. Tonight we ain't gotta go home. So we gon' party hard till the early morning. Can't stop till we lose our minds. So we gon' party like it's 2099. 2099. Crack another bottle, pour it out slow. 2099. It's our time, act like you know. 2099. Crack another bottle, over to my friends. 2099. It's our time, count up ends. Blow the candles out and make a wish. You ain't never had a night like this. Feeling like we can't be stopped tonight. We all in here celebrating life.
Yo, gotta win.
Let your head down if you're feeling alright. Tonight we going hard with no end in sight. Let's go. If you know what I know, throw your hands up. Find something slow like we can't stand up. I need one more round. Tonight we ain't gotta go home. So we gon' party hard.
You're listening to Breaking News on WNHHLP 103.5 FM. All right, let's get into it. This is Kanye West on TMZ. Let's just listen.
Okay, so Ebro, I FaceTime him, and I'm there with Candace, right? And Ebro starts bringing up his version of facts, right? And Candace has facts. She's researched, right? Candace Owens has facts. She's researched. And then Candace just pulls out her Jedi lightsaber and just, chops Ebro's head off with facts. Then Ebro FaceTimes me the next day, and he's talking about the scoop and poop. He wants to talk about music now. I said, yo, you gonna have Candace on your show? He's like, nah, I'm not. She's mean. So you're gonna stifle her voice, Ebro. You're choosing to enslave people's minds. You're choosing to not let the truth be free. It's the mob. The mob tries to tell you what to think. The mob tries to make all blacks be Democrats for food stamps and stuff. It's the mob. And by the way, you're just talking to the emotion. When you get Candace, ask her, she's gonna drop you the facts.
I believe that right now, right, black people are enslaving themselves to emotion, right? And it's actually not helping us. We seem to be going backwards. If you look at the statistics from the 1960s to now, black people are worse off today than we were 60 years ago. My grandfather did better in life. He was born in the 1940s in the segregated South, okay? His first job was on a sharecropping farm laying out tobacco to dry. than my father did when he didn't have that same upbringing. And that is because government dependency, Black people thinking that the government is going to fix our problems, which is interwoven into all of these democratic policies. The truth is, in any situation, take away black, white, no matter what happens to you in life, if what you're doing is you're looking backward, you are never going to go forward. If you're reliving things that have happened to you over and over again, it makes it implausible that you're going to be able to go forward and move forward. I didn't live through slavery, right? Obviously, I feel deeply for what my ancestors went through, but they went through that so that I have this opportunity today to make something of myself, right? To not see myself as different than everybody around me. In many ways, I feel the Black community is going backwards, that we're literally going away from what Martin Luther King dreamed. He dreamed of a day where we wouldn't have these things and say, because I'm Black, therefore I must think this. Because I'm Black, therefore I have to subscribe to all of this. I defected from this mentality. I said, you know what? I'm not a victim, I'm a victor. And this became the most controversial thing on the internet. The fact that I did not, I looked into the facts and the data, and again, while I respect the emotions, they're just not there.
There you go. And Candace was a Democrat. She was like me, a Democrat, right? And you get to the point when you're a Democrat that you either buy into everything and become part of that army of brain dead zombies, right? So, because you can't think for yourself. As soon as you start thinking for yourself, as soon as you start, even if you go and look into, just look a couple of years beforehand, right? You go 10 years, 20 years behind, and you start doing research for yourself, and you start realizing, hold on. You go, wait a minute. You look at city to city, and you look at which cities are suffering, and you realize Democrats are running those cities, right? You look at all of the states or cities that are having the financial crises, Democrats are running those states, right? And the only thing they've been able to give you is program after program after program that keeps you dependent. Now, you have to understand, if those programs succeed, those same Democrats don't have their job. They need you dependent to keep those jobs. They need you dependent to keep your vote. So they create all of these programs that don't give you hope. They just give you enough sustenance that you're able to breathe. And that's what she's talking about. She got enlightened, right? A few years ago. I got enlightened a few years ago. Right? And if you do this, if you start thinking for yourself, people think you're horrible. I lost family members over this. They not lost, right? They didn't die or anything. But I think they wished I had died. They thought I was the most horrible person imaginable. For going for Trump and not Hillary. Now, if you go back into both of their past, you'll see that they have really different paths. Hillary saw people as super predators, right? While Trump was helping Reverend Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson in New York City to clean up the city. Sure, they both, I'm not going to judge Hillary 100% as evil. She has motivations, right? She has political motivations that cause her to do certain things. I don't think Hillary believes in anything. I think when she said that super predator thing, it's because it was politically expedient at the time. And I'm sure Trump said we know Trump has said plenty of things that make you cringe. But to actually go, this person is suddenly Hitler, which is something I hear a lot from Democrats. Excuse me. I'm losing my voice here. It's something I hear a lot from Democrats, that all of a sudden Trump has turned to Hitler. So Trump wasn't Hitler when he was giving Jesse Jackson part of his building in New York to help blacks in New York City get out of poverty. Right? Trump wasn't Hitler when he went on Oprah Winfrey's show and she was celebrating him. Right? So this is the thing that you have to say to yourself. If I allow myself to think, I'm not going to be able to fit into this box that the Democrats want me to stay in. You know, so that's the problem. They don't want you to think. They not only want you in that box, they want to seal you in that box. And, you know, Kanye was in the box and he just stood up. The lid came off and he stepped out. Good for Kanye. Good for Kanye. You're listening to Breaking News with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHHLP 103.5 FM.
So I'ma take it slow, but I'ma lay down the laws and I'ma let you know I'm a freak by nature, won't hesitate. The way you kiss my chest make my dick levitate. When we make love, man, you make no mistakes. The first time, the first day, I love the way you taste. The hunger for your lust had me going in face. That's why before we fuck, I'm always saying my grace. The tongue between your thighs, had your eyes in space. Biting on your bottom lip, blowing on the pillowcase. Feeling like a game of tag the way I'm giving chase. But it's alright because you let me catch you every day. Hide and go seek, knee deep under the sheets. The love falls from the walls, putting it to sleep. But it's alright, yo, it's gonna be your long night. That booty's big like a mountain. It's a long night. Then enjoy this moment with me. I'll make you feel alright, girl. If you give your loving to me, I'll beat it all. You ain't got to tell me. I'll beat it all. You ain't got to tell me. Your position been dope for face down, next up. I can never let your type of nature pass up. You could be my patch or my back that up. I'll be the gas station, you can pull up and gas up. I got that Mack truck, I park it in your belly. I see you whisper to your friends, do we think you really? We can go to the crib or maybe the telly. It doesn't matter, got you whispering, you wanna taste my jelly. Whatever way you wanna get your back broken. We can do it on the low or do it in the open. The sexy smell of Chanel, put a spell like a fairy tale that we both know very well. We can play house, hide and go seek. Red light, green light, stop and go under the sheets. After that, jump in the tub, I'm diving in deep. Scuba diving, no air, not coming up until you reach your feet. If it's only for one night, if it's only for then enjoy this moment with me. I'll make you feel alright, girl. If you give your loving to me, I'll beat it all. I'll beat it all.
All right. Hopefully my voice is back. Alright, like I said, if you go through the internet, look up the Blacks for Trump. You'll see plenty. Not just blacks. Look up Latinos for Trump. You know, I hate getting stuck into this black-white issue stuff because they leave the Latinos out, the Hispanics out of the mix. And we are the biggest minority now. So even though right now society is still stuck with black and white, there's a reckoning coming with Latinos. So let's listen. Let's listen to another celebrity, right? Let's listen to another guy. He's not talking about Trump, but it's about race. And this is Lil Weezy. Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne. Big hip-hop star, too.
At the age of 12 years old, I shot myself. I was in the house. Police knocked on the door. I was right there. They knocked the door down. Everybody jumped over my body to go get the guns and drugs and whatever they could find. It took one guy to stop right there and cuss everybody that hopped over me out. Like, what the f*** are y'all doing? They said, oh, no, we was going to see if it... What the f*** are y'all doing? We called the ambulance. An ambulance, do you not see this kid on the floor with this hole in his chest? He said, you drive. Pick me up. Brought me to the hospital. He didn't drop me off at the ambulance and say, you take him. He brought me to the hospital room and made two and stood there and waited till the doctor said he's gonna make it. He said, don't worry, my name's Uncle Bob. He was white as snow. The that hopped over me was blacker than me.
Was he a cop?
Yeah, he was a cop, and my life was saved by a white man. I don't know what racism is. I know a good named Uncle Bob, though.
All right. And that was Young Weezy actually defending white cops there, right? Because everybody puts the stigmatism on people, on white people, white men especially. For some reason, everybody hates white men these days, right? Especially if they're cops. So Lil Wayne, what he's saying is he was shot when he was 12 years old. He shot himself with a gun that was in his house. And the rest of the cops knocked down the door, jumped over his body to look for drugs and other guns. And this one cop stopped to save his life. And what he was saying, this cop was white as snow. He stopped to save his life. And the other cops that jumped over his body were black. So he was just kind of reminding us that it really doesn't matter your color. It matters if you're human or not, which that cop obviously was. Right? But you see it, you take information however you want to take it, right? This guy learned something that day. That he was looking at another human being saving him. It didn't matter if he was white as snow. I think we need to stop. And this is what Candace was saying in that video, in that audio clip I played earlier. That we're losing what Martin marched for, Dr. Martin Luther King. Where we stop looking at the color of each other's skin and assuming things of one another. And don't think and don't lie to yourself if you're saying only white people do that. That's a lie. I grew up in the hood. Everybody does it. But I'm going to start playing, I think I'm going to start playing Candace Owens clips for my show, every show or something. have a little segment, Candace says. But I want to play a little clip here. It's a little dated, but it's important for what I'm doing right here today. So let's listen.
Down 3 times, the left made an absolute and utter mockery of black people right to our faces. My name is Candace Owens, and you are watching The Left Thinks Blacks Are Stupid. Let's take it from the top. Number 3 was brought to us by a woman who knows absolutely no boundaries when it comes to making me cringe. That's right. Hillary Clinton claims she keeps hot sauce in her bag.
What's something that you always carry with you?
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yes.
Now listen,
yes.
I just want you to know, people are going to see this and say, okay, she's pandering to black people.
Okay. Is it working?
She doesn't even care if we know that she thinks we're stupid. Like, she doesn't even care.
No, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce.
Hot sauce, yeah. I just want to sit in on a DNC strategy session. Okay, here's how we get the Latina vote. Empanadas. I'll say that I love empanadas. I bailando to Enrique Iglesias. Okay, here's how we're going to get the Irish vote. Potatoes! So insulting and easy to see why number 2 on our countdown is when Hillary Clinton pretends to be a Jay-Z fan.
Without further ado, I would like to introduce to you the next president of the United States, Hillary Clinton.
Without further ado, I would like to introduce to you how stupid the left thinks we are. Oh my God, it's Jay-Z and Beyonce. I always do whatever they say. I can guarantee you that Hillary Clinton cannot even name 2 Jay-Z albums. And yet, just a few days before the election, while Donald Trump was out on the ground speaking to real people, she opted to throw a Jay-Z and Beyonce concert. In case you don't speak liberal, allow me to interpret that action for you. Hi, black people. I know your communities are suffering, but you are too stupid for me to waste my time speaking to you about that. So instead, I'm gonna throw you a Jay-Z and Beyonce concert. You guys like hip-hop, right? So insulting, it actually pisses me off. She doesn't even think she needs to speak to us about what is happening in our community and how she is going to fix it. If you guys watched that concert and thought, oh my God, Queen Bey and Jay are hashtag with her, then congratulations, because you are considered an easy target by the left. Back when I used to babysit, the 3-year-old that I watched was obsessed with Barbies. Whenever I wanted her to do something, I would tell her that Barbie thought it was cool. Barbie thinks cleaning your room is cool. That is literally the strategy that the left uses on black people. Jay-Z and Beyonce think it's cool. Last but not least, number 1 on this countdown is, drum roll please, Mr. Change himself, Barack Obama.
Barack Obama! Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Yes, we are people.
Yes! A black president! Now I can die a happy death. This means progress because his skin is black, like mine. I'm not gonna lie, I was fooled first too back in 2008 when Obama first came around. Just seeing somebody that looked like me made me buy into the illusion that perhaps this country was headed in the right direction. And then I woke up, and I will never, repeat, never ever be fooled by the color of someone's skin again. Just because you are a woman does not mean that your primary concerns are for women. Just because you are a black man does not mean that your primary concerns are for black men. Lessons learned the hard way, anybody? I want to be very clear on the takeaway here. The left thinks black people are stupid. They rely on our interests, hip-hop, culture, music, hot sauce apparently, to distract us from the truth, which is that we are, in fact, ignorant. We are ignorant because we do not know our own history. We are ignorant because the left controls the academia, the media, and Hollywood. Q, J, and Bay. And they have purposefully thrown off our sense that we would never discover the source of our own pain and misery. Slavery, segregation, welfare, you name it. It has and always will be orchestrated by the left. Thank you guys so much for watching.
And that was Candace Owens. And this is why people were outraged. When Kanye said he likes the way she thinks, right? Because she's thinking completely out of the box, right? She's not allowing herself to be tied down to anything anymore. So it is interesting. You got to give it to her. She's good. But Hillary Clinton tried to get you with hot sauce. Oh my God. But look, you have to be able to think for yourself. You have to be able to grow beyond the pain of being a victim all your life, right? Or you suffering the pain of 200 or 50, 60, 70, 100 years, 200 years ago. You know, we have to be able to choose actually, like she said, being a victor and not a victim. I mean, you have to be able to choose your way out of this system that has you basically running in circles and going nowhere. You're actually driving yourself into the ground. All right, people. It's been fun. You've been listening to Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on Breaking News. Let me see if I got anything fast. Yeah, I got a couple of minutes. Oh, here we go. You know this North Korea thing, right? That's been happening? This North Korea thing. The peace that it seems. Nothing's 100% until it happens. But this North Korea negotiations happening between our president and Kim Jong-un, right? People are acting, or the left is acting. I heard the left this weekend saying, we got to give him a little credit. But should we give him all the credit? You know, Kim Jong-un is meeting him halfway. Well, there's a reason Kim Jong-un is moving, right? But let's listen, because Trump, and I could do this with almost all of Trump's issues. Actually, if you go back to Trump's first appearance on the Oprah Winfrey Show, you will see, or you will get to hear Trump's platform then in the 1980s. But let's listen to what Trump felt about North Korea in 1999.
I'd negotiate. I would negotiate like crazy, and I'd make sure that we tried to get the best deal possible. Look, Tim, if a man walks up to you on a street in Washington, because this doesn't happen, of course, in New York, but if a man walks up and puts a gun to your head and says, give me your money, wouldn't you rather know where he's coming from before he had the gun in his hand? And these people, in 3 or 4 years, are going to be having nuclear weapons. They're going to have those weapons pointed all over the world, and specifically at the United States. And wouldn't you be better off solving this really potentially unbelievable, and the biggest problem, I mean, we can talk about the economy, we can talk about Social Security. The biggest problem this world has is nuclear proliferation. And we have a country out there in North Korea, which is sort of wacko, which is not a bunch of dummies, and they are going out and they are developing nuclear weapons. And they're not doing it because they're having fun doing it, they're doing it for a reason. And wouldn't it be good to sit down and really negotiate something, and ideally negotiate? Now, if that negotiation doesn't work, you better solve the problem now than solve it later, Tim. And you know it, and every politician knows it, and nobody wants to talk about it. Jimmy Carter, who I really like, and he went over there, it was so soft. These people are laughing at us.
The former general of the Air Force, Merrill McPeak, the former Secretary of Defense, Les Aspin, said you could not launch a preemptive strike against North Korea because the nuclear fallout could be devastating to the Asian Peninsula.
I'm not talking about us using nuclear weapons. I'm saying that they have areas where they're developing missiles.
No, but taking out their nuclear potential would create a fallout.
Tim, do you know that this country went out and gave them nuclear reactors free fuel for 10 years. We virtually tried to bribe them into stopping, and they're continuing to do what they're doing, and they're laughing at us. They think we're a bunch of dummies. I'm saying that we have to do something to stop.
But if the military told you, Mr. Trump, we can't do this.
You give me two names. You're giving me two names. I don't know. Do you want to do it in 5 years when they have warheads all over the place, every one of them pointing to New York City, to Washington, and every one of our... Is that when you want to do it? Or do you want to do something now? You better do it now. And if they think you're serious, I deal with lots of people. If they think you're serious, they'll negotiate, and it'll never come to that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to Donald J. Trump. His positions now have always been his positions, right? And he wasn't racist in 1999. Why did Tim Russert have him on his program if he was racist? Why did NBC hire him for The Apprentice if he was racist? Why did he do business with everyone he did if he was racist? Why did he help Reverend Al Sharpton? Why did he help Reverend Jackson in New York City in the 80s if he was racist? Right? But of course, if you want to march lockstep like brain dead zombies, go ahead. But it's time to free your mind like Kanye and Candace Owens. You've been listening to Breaking News with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio. See ya!
The tongue of a man is the rudder of the boat, but the Lord of all is its pilot. Cast not thy heart after riches. There's no ignoring fate and destiny. Place not thy thoughts on things outside. Every man is destined for his hour.
I'm feeling goods where all of your cash went. Not chakra alignment or inward refinement. Trying to find one word to describe men. Better yet, can one consciousness unify them? Pondering on these questions is where my time spent. Creative process, believe me, greatness got to achieve it. Ideas we believe it.
And you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting from New Haven, Connecticut.
Your mind is affected by words and deed. Your thoughts are keys to what you're trying to see. And what you're trying to see should be to reach your goals. Hold on to your dreams. Keys open doors. Since you can't always choose circumstances, make sure to choose your thoughts wisely. Choose advancement. Work towards the future. Now's your chance, kid. Accept responsibility. Avoid resentment. Actions always take root from what you think about. Things ain't going your way. It ain't hard to figure out. Why? Oh, why? Ask why. Ain't gotta tell you. It's right in front of your eyes. So in following these principles, you'll find along
the thought crossed her mind where there was one. Whoa.